Jai Gurudev. Jai Masters. I think it's very beautiful when instead of spirituality being mystical and very difficult, you realize that the real deep spiritual precepts and concepts are just simple, everyday, logical, reasonable things. Like, for example, if I were to teach spirituality, and I met somebody who had no exposure, I wouldn't teach them about God. I wouldn't talk to them about scriptures or all these things. I would just ask them a very simple question. When you're doing something, would you rather enjoy what you're doing or not enjoy what you're doing? When you're doing something, would you rather enjoy what you're doing or not enjoy what you're doing? That's such a complicated question. If you're with somebody, would you rather enjoy being with them or not like being with them? Well, this is like no-brainers here, aren't they? Of course I'd rather enjoy what I'm doing. Of course I'd rather enjoy being with somebody than not enjoy with somebody. Well, spirituality says the following. Then enjoy what you're doing and enjoy who you're with. What? What'd you say? I said then enjoy what you're doing and enjoy who you're with. But I don't. Okay? Good. Thank you for being honest. So that leaves you with two choices. If you would rather enjoy what you're doing, let's just take that one. Leave aside this enjoy who you're with for a minute. If you'd rather enjoy what you're doing, and you've admitted to me, I'd rather enjoy what I'm doing. If I have a choice, and I either enjoy what I'm doing, I don't enjoy what I'm doing, come on, give me a break. Of course you're going to choose to enjoy what you're doing. Then I say to you, enjoy what you're doing. And you say to me, but I don't. Okay. So now we have two choices, and I want you to get these choices because it's the essence of spirituality. Either figure out what it is that you would enjoy that you're doing, and go out there and try to make things be like that so that you can enjoy what you're doing. That's one way to do it. There's another way to do it. Enjoy what you're doing. In other words, do I need to change everything and everyone around me so that it fits the way I am now? Or can I change me to fit the way it is? I'm not asking you to choose. Have an open mind. But understand, either way could work, wouldn't it? All right? There's nothing saying you can't change everybody and everything, including the weather, forever for the rest of your life in front of you so it matches exactly what you want. Nothing saying you can't do that. Good luck. You're welcome to try. Nobody said you can't do that. And nobody said you can't change whatever it is inside of you that says, I don't like doing this. I don't want to do this. I don't like doing this. There's a thing inside you that says that, isn't there? You could theoretically change that too. So that instead of saying, I don't like doing this, I don't want to do this anymore, it says, God, I like doing this. It's the most exciting thing I've ever done. This is so much fun. Theoretically, it could change, couldn't it? So both of those are ways to try to make it so that you enjoy what you're doing. I swear I could send you home. You have learned every single thing there is to learn about life, about spirituality, about the whole kit and caboodle. You have a choice to make. By the way, it is your only choice that you will ever make. It is bigger than who you marry. It is bigger than your career. It is bigger than where you live. It is bigger than every single thing you will ever choose for the rest of your life. They are all just subsets of this choice. The choice is which way you're going to do it. Never thought about that, did you? You don't give yourself the choice. You just like got this habit thing going on where you always do it the first way. You didn't even know there was a second way. It was sort of like I'm carved in stone. So it may be hard, but it's not carved in stone, so I better get to work. Why am I even in here listening to this? I better be out there manipulating, controlling, and figuring out how to get everything the way I want so that I can enjoy what I'm doing. That's how we think. No one ever came up and said, no, before you go out there, you can go out there if you want. Nobody's stopping you. Don't worry. Just while we're here, just for an hour, let's have a talk. There's another way to do it. No. Yeah. Change yourself. What? Change what is going on inside of you that's saying you don't enjoy it to enjoying it. You're at a restaurant. You've ordered. It's a very special meal. You only get one dinner, one lunch that day, whatever it is, and you look forward to it. It's been served to you. Would you rather enjoy your meal or not enjoy it? Would you rather enjoy what you're eating, enjoy the company, enjoy the music, enjoy the meal, and then when you get up, feel, wow, I got my money's worth. That was great. I'm so glad I picked this restaurant. I'm ready to go back to work, whatever I was doing. This was really nice. Or would you rather not enjoy it, think it's terrible, it tastes bad, it's not prepared right, why did I even come here? This is ridiculous, and I don't like the music, and I don't like the people, and then when you get up, feel like, oh my God, I wasted my lunch, it wasn't even worth anything, now I got to go back to work and I feel terrible. All right, I'm just asking, which would you rather have? If you had a choice and you could push a button, which button would you push? Because I know which button you'd push. Not one of you would push the second button ever, would you? You would always push the first button. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, do you enjoy the work you're doing? Do you enjoy the meal you're eating? Do you enjoy the person you're with? Do you enjoy the weather the way it is? Do you enjoy your car? Do you enjoy your clothes? Do you enjoy what you said yesterday? Do you enjoy the conversation you just had with this person? You have all these moments that are unfolding in your life. Would you rather enjoy them or not enjoy them? And unfortunately, there is a part inside of you that says the following to that question. Well, of course I'd rather enjoy them, but they won't be the way I want. Don't talk to me, talk to them. Who? Everybody. It's so cute. Hey, talk to the weather. Talk to everybody. Talk to the chef. Talk to the waiter. Talk to everybody. Because that's who you'd have to talk to get it all the way you want. Wouldn't you? Everybody. All the time. Every single second. Or you can talk to yourself. God, it's like a novel concept. You can talk to yourself and say, somebody enjoys this job, why can't you? You used to enjoy the job. You were excited to go there. You told everybody you liked it. And now you don't. And, it's like, is there a reason you went to that restaurant? You must have eaten something before you liked it. You can work with yourself instead of having to work with everything else to match the particular way you are at that moment, because you must admit it changes. That which you liked one time, you don't like the next. All right? So you can't even figure out how you want it to be, because it keeps changing, doesn't it? So basically, you can take the attitude that I have work to do. And I'm telling you, the biggest question in your entire life, the biggest decision is, do I want to do that work outside to try to make everything match me as if I'm immutable and unchangeable, so it better change? Or do I want to work on me so that I can enjoy whatever it is? If it's raining, I like rain. If it's not raining, I like not raining. If it's cold, I love the cold. If it's hot, I just say, oh my God, I like it so much, I'm sweating. Who said you can't do that? You are allowed to work with yourself. And what you're going to find out is it's a very, very intelligent thing to do if you want to enjoy what you're doing. It is the only way you will ever get to the state that you are enjoying your life. Otherwise, you will not enjoy what's going on. And we'll talk about why in a minute. And then you will be at war with the people, places, and things outside of you to try to make them be the way you want them to be. And you'll resent that they weren't that way. You'll feel bad or blah, blah. You'll feel jealous that other people get it, resentful. It creates all kinds of psychological problems. And so you get to the point where you catch on. I have some work to do. And if I want to enjoy my life, the work is on me. I'm the one constant that's always there. And in fact, if you start to do this work, it happens so quickly that you catch on. This growth, spiritual growth, does not take a long time. It takes a long time because you're doing it wrong. It takes a long time because you're saying, if I meet the right person, I get the right finances, and this person stops being like an idiot, and my kid isn't sick anymore. You set all these conditions that the outside world and everybody in it have to be a certain way for you to be okay, and then you wonder why you're not okay, because they're never going to be that way. So you catch on that I can do this very quickly if I'm willing to work on myself instead of working on everybody else. And the minute you start looking, the first thing you're going to see is that you always complain. You don't always complain outside, because that doesn't sound good. You're more politically correct than that. You complain plenty outside. But inside, You always complain. You're always complaining. Nothing's ever the way you want it to be. You're afraid that it won't be the way you want it to be. You're mad that it wasn't the way you want it to be. You remember every time it wasn't the way you wanted it to be, going back to 5 years old. Do you understand that? It's unbelievable what happens if you do it this other way. It simply doesn't work. And so you start watching and you see, and this is how you really grow. You see, all right, I'm in here and I want to enjoy my life. I want to enjoy the things I'm doing. I want to be enthused. I want to be excited. I want to like people. I want to like my food. I don't know about you. I want to like as many moments as I can of my life, because the alternative is to not like them. And then I'm not liking my life. So now that I've decided I want to do that, I start noticing that there's a part of my being that won't cooperate. It's not me. I want to like my life. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. But there's something in here that won't. How about that? All right? There's something in here that just keeps complaining. There's something in here that keeps finding things wrong with everything. There's something in here that's telling me I can't enjoy it. All right? Okay. That's an obstacle. And so when you take on your spiritual journey, you sit there and say, that's my work. I keep trying to show you that. That's my work. What? This thing inside of me that won't let me enjoy my life. If I can get rid of that, then I can enjoy what I'm doing. I can enjoy who I'm with. I thought when I did my hair, when I went to the parlor and had my hair done, I thought it would come out a certain way. It didn't come out anything like that. I really liked the way it looks. It wasn't what I expected. Wow, what a surprise. Which would you rather do? Walk around depressed because how your hair came out, that it wasn't what you expected, or be excited that it's a new look? Kind of the mohawk thing. the thing slipped. I don't know. But the result is there are people that walk around and purposely put their hair in mohawks. So you got it for free. It was like a surprise package. I'm telling you, you can do anything you want in there. That's what's so beautiful. I keep telling you, you're the only one in there. There's no competition. There's nothing else going on in there. They are your thoughts, your emotions, your preferences, your views, your opinions, your beliefs, your hopes, your dreams. Well, then why not make them to where they make it so that you enjoy your life? Why just leave them to be however they happen to line up and then go out there and try to make everything else match you? It makes no sense at all. And this is spirituality. It's about you working on you. That's all. It's about the Gita says one should raise the self with self. That's what it's talking about. Exactly what we just said. You're in there, and there's another part of you that's a party pooper. There's another part of you that isn't doing so good. So how do you do this now? You catch yourself, and you're going to be doing it constantly to start with. You catch yourself when you've externalized the problem. Every time you sit there and say, I'm not happy, I don't enjoy this, I don't like this, and then you say the solution is for everything else to change, you catch yourself. And you realize that was the old way I used to do it. I'm not going to do it that way anymore. We're at a very important point, because ever since writing the Surrender Experiment, oh my God, do I get a lot of emails. And everybody says they love the book. But you can see that, oh my God, are they challenged by that notion of just saying yes and not listening to the party that wants to say no. And what they try to do is make a rule out of it. That am I literally sitting saying you're supposed to say yes to everything? Of course I'm not saying that. That's absurd. What I am saying is there is a part inside of you that is a party pooper. Maybe you've noticed. It's scared, it's insecure, it's negative, it's judgmental, it's desirous, it's preferences, it likes, it doesn't. It just, oh my God, that thing a mess. I can't even talk about it. All right? What I wanted to do was to no longer associate that part of my being as who I am. It's just a thing inside of me that's got serious problems. It's not me. I'm the one who notices that it's doing that, aren't I? Right? I'm the one who notices that he complains all the time. I'm the one who notices that he picks on himself. I'm the one who notices he picks on everybody else. I'm the one who notices he finds something wrong with everything. I'm the one who notices that he's stored everything that ever bothered him for his entire life and then keeps bringing it back up. Right? And I can see that. Who am I? Who am I that sees that? So the whole purpose of that journey was to sit there and say, not that you say yes to everything, that's ridiculous. It's that you break the hold it has on you. That's what you need to get from those experiments I did. You commit yourself to break the hold it has on you. So if it's in there busy saying, no, I don't want to do this, all right, you do it. Not because, you were following the intuition of deeper. No, you were just doing the opposite of what it said to do so that it doesn't get to be the boss anymore. And if it's sitting there saying, oh my God, I'd rather do that job than this one. I want to do that, right? Then you say no. It's like you just start, in kindergarten you had a thing called the opposite day. You start playing the opposite day for real, but with only one motive. That thing has run my life. And by the way, I put an I in there and it becomes ruined my life. It has. I don't have to talk about you. You can tell me about yours. I know mine. That was ridiculous. It just made a mess out of everything. Everything. And then, like I said, its solution was to try and manipulate and control everybody and everything to try and make it so that it was happy. Well, I don't want to do that anymore. Don't work. I don't know about you. I want to enjoy my life. I can't enjoy my life that way. And so how do I break the hold? So I worked with these experiments by myself to sit there and say, I'm not going to do what he says. And eventually went from I'm not going to do what it says to I'm just not going to listen to him. I'm not going to do the opposite. I don't go through my whole life doing the opposite of what he says. But to start with, you get some distance, and then you get to the point where I'm not going to listen. I don't care what he says. That's not what I'm doing. And so all of a sudden, you're working on yourself. He doesn't run me anymore. I'm not interested. If you are willing to let go of that maniac, and you know who I'm talking about, that has all the judgments and all the preferences and all the likes and all the dislikes and all the fears and all the anxieties. If you are willing to just say, I don't know what to listen to, but I know not that. If there's one thing I know, is I ain't listening to that. That's all it takes. I'm telling you, it will take you the whole way. You do not seek truth. You just let go of non-truth. See, you don't know what truth is. If you're seeking truth, that means you don't know it. You don't have it. You can't sit there and seek something you don't have the slightest idea what it is because you've never experienced it. You're admitting you don't know what it is. So you're looking for it. Well, you're not going to find it. But you do know what non-truth is. I do know that thing inside of me has caused me to hurt people, has said things I was sorry for, has done really a lot of stuff that didn't work out so good, right or wrong. Okay? Maybe you've noticed. And I did notice that there's a part inside of me that keeps remembering the things I did wrong in the past. How about you? You got one of those guys in there? And that makes me feel terrible. Makes me feel insecure. Makes me feel judgmental of myself. It makes me feel weak. It's not a healthy thing. It's like eating something bad. I know when I ate something bad. How do you know? It made me feel bad. So I might not know exactly what food I should eat, but I know what food I shouldn't eat, right? Because I already did it and it didn't work. So I know what part of my being I shouldn't listen to, don't you? All right, you know darn well. That's good enough. You find truth by not following non-truth. If you keep letting go of non-truth, guess what's left? Truth. If I keep not eating what made me sick before, I will cull out naturally the things that made me sick and I'll be left with the things that don't. It's so easy. You back your way in. You don't walk your way in. Do you understand that? I'm teaching you. We got to a very deep thing here. I'm telling you, you back your way in. You don't see where you're going. You will never see where you're going. But you see where you've been. And where you've been is your teacher. And you learn from it. And you just keep letting go of that which is lower than you. And I'm telling you, anything you watch personal going on in your mind is lower than you because you're the one who's watching. I am more real than anything I see on TV. How about if I make that statement? I am more real than anything I see on TV. Of course I am. The TV is just a bunch of pixels on a screen. It's like, I'm real. It's just stupid stuff. If it has any values because I gave it to it, I'm the one who understood it. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of plastic and pixels and silicon. It's, flat screen stuff. It's nothing. But I'm real, okay? You who sees the mind speaking, you who sees the judgments and the fears and the anxieties and all that stuff that you watch in there, you are higher than what you are watching. under all circumstances, every single time. So if you're letting go of non-truth, what you're doing is letting go of your lower self, and you end up in your higher self. You don't go to your higher self. You just let go of what you're not. That's a very high teaching. And it's the only way, by the way. Otherwise, you'll just, God, I hope you're hearing me. Your mind will start telling you spiritual things. The next thing you know, used to tell you, I don't like eating this. It doesn't taste good. I like it to be sweeter. Then all of a sudden it'll say, I don't like eating this. It's not macrobiotic. It's not exactly what I want. The exact same mind. Just changed its tune, doesn't it? It starts bothering you about the different things. Same exact stuff. That's all. Like you go out on a date or something and you might say, I don't like him, I don't like her, I don't like what they're doing, I don't like how they eat, I don't like how they right. Then you go out on a date next time when you're all spiritualized and it says, oh my God, I'm supposed to like them. What's wrong with me? Why don't I like them? This is ridiculous. I've been meditating. God, I should learn to like people. This is ridiculous. I'm so... Careful. All you've done is changed its clothes. It's the same mind. It's the same judgment system. It just changed its index cards, changed the data, but it's running the same exact program. That's what spiritual ego is. What's the difference between raw ego, basic ego, and spiritual ego? Just the data it uses to make up the junk it talks about. And so you don't want to do that. I don't want you to do that. I want to skip that step. How do you skip the step? By realizing that you who is watching your mind talk are higher than anything your mind can say. I don't care whether it's talking about worldly stuff or spiritual stuff. If you are watching the mind say it, you're higher than that. The consciousness is higher than the object of consciousness. You're just watching a mind. You're watching a TV screen, a talking head. You who's watching is real. So these are the same teachings. Everything I've talked about so far, what they're saying is, remember, if you would like to enjoy your life, and that's how I want you to approach it, I want you to approach it from spiritual, mystical stuff. Everybody wants to enjoy their life. Everybody wants to like what they're doing. Everybody wants to like their career. Everyone likes to like the person they married, right? If you lose your job because they downsize and you did the best that you could, I want you to be happy at the thought of the change in career. Either way, you're out of the job. So either you have two problems or one. Either you have one problem, which you're out of the job, and you have a second problem is you're all screwed up about it, or you have one problem, you're out of a job, and you're having fun looking for another one. Which do you want to be? I'm telling you, these are buttons. Button number 1, button number 2. Which one you want to push? I like it, I don't like it. If you have a choice, push the I like it button. And what you're going to see is right now you don't have a choice. Because the monster inside, your ego, this personal self, doesn't like things. It's very picky, isn't it? It's really picky about how things have to be before the I like button gets pushed. If you try to push the I like button, it says, no, there are mosquitoes. It doesn't matter. Haven't you noticed there's always something wrong? All right? And so you need to change this. You need to do this work inside yourself. So now the question becomes, how do you do it? I teach the following. If you notice it talking, let it go. But don't I have to discriminate? No. Oh, I'm so bad. I don't have to discriminate between what it's saying. Let it go. That talking head is going to give you advice. The same talking head that's screwing up your life. The same talking head that said, I don't like it, is the one who's telling you what to do about it. All it has to do is not tell me it doesn't like it, and I don't have to do anything about it. It's like Buddhists call it working at the root. You work at the root. The root of the problem is you. The root of the problem is not what's happening. The root of the problem is that you decided not to like it. How do I know? Because something changed, you wouldn't like that either, or you like it for a minute, versus say I like it, and you like it, it's over. So you need to learn to work with yourself. So in order to do this, the first thing you need to do is get some distance. You get the distance by not listening. You get the distance by playing this game, which is I'm in here and I have something inside of me that is bothering me, that is causing problems. I don't have to do what it says. I can just relax in the face of its noise. And that's what I highly advise you to do. But I don't know how to do it. Then learn. Then meditate. then put aside, let's just get this down. I just have this thing about, there's so many people teach meditation, learn it somewhere. You don't need me. So many people teach all the techniques. They're wonderful. You know what the best technique is? The one you use. The one you do. All right? The point is, let's talk about that. Well, it doesn't shut up and I keep listening to it and I don't know how to not listen to it. There. That's what you want to say. I wish I didn't listen to it. I wish I had a good one. Can I trade it in? All right? And I wish I had one that said I like it all the time. But I don't. I have one that finds something wrong with everything. Join the club. What do I do about it? Get your distance. Take a giant step back. Don't fight with it. I'm teaching you something. Do not ever fight with yourself. Does that sound funny? Watch this. If you find that your left hand picks up a mallet and your right hand picks up a knife, do not let them go to war, because you lose. Either way. Do you understand that? It's a no-win situation if that's what's going on. If you're in there fighting with yourself, you lose. There's no struggle here. It is not a battle. It is an understanding that I am in here, and in here with me, of my own making, is this mess that doesn't like things. It keeps demanding stuff and telling me what has to happen and what, oh my God, I don't need to tell you, you live in there. All right? And it's a problem. I have a problem. And I'm in the habit of trying to solve my problem by doing what it says to do. It's like I have this kid that throws tantrums and I don't understand. He won't get over it. I try to give him everything he wants. Every time he throws a tantrum, is this what you want? Was it this coat? Oh my God, he's such a problem. Which one of you believe it's going to stop if you do that? Which one of you believe if you have a maniac tantrum thrower inside, and you do, inside of you, who's demanding that this change and that change and this be like this, and you actually put out all of your effort to try and make it be that way, why is that any different than trying to give the tantrum child what he wants? It's exactly the same. And yet you spent every moment of your life trying to control and manipulate everything around you to be the way you want, haven't you? No wonder she's a maniac. So you have to start by taking a giant step back. Simon says, take a step back. What do you mean? If I'm in here, and I am, and I see that system doing its thing, my first step is to not listen. I don't know how to teach you anything else. You have to not listen. Why? Because if you listen, it's going to take over. You have to learn to not listen. How do I learn that? Okay. Traditionally, they teach things like meditation. Right? Well, what does that mean? It's very simple. I like that nowadays all that's asked is 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening. Anybody can put aside 15 minutes. Give me a break. All right? What do I do during those 15 minutes? In truth, anything other than listen to your mind. So let's take an example, because I think it was you or somebody who was sitting over there. They said, so I just take 15 minutes, I sit down and just watch my mind for 15 minutes. That'd be fine, but you're not going to be able to do it. What do you mean? It's just 15 minutes. You won't last 2 minutes. The minute it starts talking, you're not going to be there watching anymore. You're going to be in there, yeah, you're right. Why did she say that? I don't know. I'm supposed to be watching. That's what's going to happen to you. Because you're really interested in what your mind has to say. You're completely used to doing what it says and getting all involved in its melodrama. So what you need to do is learn how to not get sucked into what your mind is talking about. That's not about fighting with the mind. It's not about changing what it's talking about. It's about not getting sucked into it. So how do I do that? First, you set the commitment that that's what you want to do. You sit down. I'm not going to get sucked into my mind. All right? Then I highly recommend, instead of trying to watch the mind and not get sucked in, you watch something other than your mind, like your breath. If you watch your breath go in and out, down at the abdomen, do diaphragm breathing. Just breathe in, breathe out, and then just watch. Watch your stomach. Doesn't sound boring. Watch your stomach go out. Watch your stomach come in. Feel the breath come out of your nose. Just watch your breath go in and out instead of watching what your mind is saying. Don't do it while you're watching what your mind is saying. The whole idea is not, can I breathe? You're always breathing. But normally you're paying attention to your mind while the breath's doing its own thing. You don't even know you're breathing. This time you do the opposite. You know you're breathing, and you don't know what your mind's saying. Okay? It's not that hard. You can do that. Does that sound really hard? It's not hard, right? Just watch your breath go in and out, and don't watch your mind. How do I not watch my mind? By focusing on something else. Your breath. And you're going to find out that it works. All of a sudden you have these moments where you feel quiet, where it's nice. Of course it's nice. If you don't hang out with not nice, it's nice. And your mind is not nice. It's complaining and it's worrying and it's remembering everything that ever bothered you. So if you can watch your breath instead, it's like going, you know what it's like? Going on a vacation. But it's free. You don't have to go anywhere. You'll be more relaxing than if you bother to go to Hawaii and tried to get everything right and got the tickets, and you get all tense about that too. There's nothing going on besides I'm going to watch my breath. So when I say learn, that's how you learn. It doesn't matter. Sometimes there'll be good times in there. Sometimes there's not. It doesn't matter. If you drift and get caught in your mind, the moment you notice, don't let the mind start getting down on you and saying, look at you can't even tell anyone. No, just come back. Just come back and go back to the breath. That act of catching yourself and going back is as important as not getting lost. In other words, there's nothing that can go wrong during those 15 minutes as long as your intention stays there. There's no such thing as a bad meditation. If I go onto a tennis court and I have a coach teaching me, and I'm real good with the forehand, but I'm really, really bad at the backhand, there is no such thing as a bad practice. I don't care if I hit into the net 30 times in a row. It was a good practice because I was working with something I'm not good at. And if you work at it, you're going to get better. That's just the way it works. You can't not. You're using the muscles, using the exercise, you're paying attention, you get focused, whatever. I don't care if it takes 60 practices. You're going to get better at every single thing you do if you set yourself to it. That goes for this too. So if you take that time and you watch, and then when it drifts off, you just come back, that act of coming back is precious. It's beautiful. All right? And just come back to the breath. Just come back to the breath. Just let go of the mind. And just the fact that you didn't get down on yourself. Usually you get down on yourself when you don't succeed in doing what, don't you? Or you get all negative and so on. No, not during these 15 minutes. This is free time. If you get lost and you get drift and you come back, instead of getting down on yourself, I'm begging you, in fact, I'm instructing you, instead of getting down on yourself because you get lost, be up on yourself because you came back. You can do either. Which one you want to do? Hey, came back, it worked. That's what I want you to do. That's the end of it. All right? Came back, it worked. And then just come back to your breath. Hey, I did it. I came back to my breath. That's all. And just keep letting go of whatever the mind is saying and focus on the breath. All right? Do that. And if you'll do that for 15 minutes every morning and every evening for the rest of your life, it's just 15 minutes. You do it in the bathroom, you eat breakfast, you do all kinds of things for the rest of your life. So if you will do this, it will change everything. Guaranteed. So there's one method of how do I learn to not listen to my mind. You practice not listening to your mind. You practice not listening to your mind. It's a very, very healthy thing to do. Why? Because your mind's not so healthy. Your mind is what's making it so you don't like things. It's telling you, I don't like them. See, that's something, you guys look at me like I'm weird when I say that. No, Mickey, I don't like it. What happens if your mind says, I do like it? Well, then I do. That's what I told you. Your mind is telling you whether you like it or not. If it starts saying, I really like this, then you do. If it says, I don't like it, then you don't. Have you ever liked something and then decided you don't like it? Of course you have. Well, what changed? The thing didn't change. It stayed the same. Your mind changed. Have you ever not liked something and decided you liked it? Yeah, it's the same thing. Catch on to what's happening here. It is your mind that is doing this. And so by not listening to your mind, you liberate yourself. That's the word we use, liberate. You free yourself from the bondage of this mess. And that's what liberation is. Liberation is not freeing yourself from the world. There's nothing wrong with the world. It is freeing yourself from yourself. It's self-liberation. So you practice this. There are other things you can practice. I've told you there's lots of techniques. What's beautiful about yoga, that whole science of yoga, it really is just techniques about how to do this, right, that have been developed. So you can, for example, you can take a word. I used to do this. I don't do it anymore, but I used to do it. Well, you just take a word. I used to use the word God. Use any word you want. Love, peace, God. I don't care. It doesn't make any difference. And you just say it. You just start saying it. Practice saying it. Well, why would I do that? because you get to listen to it instead of what your mind would be saying otherwise. So if the mind is down there saying, I don't like this, I don't want to do this, I don't like this, I don't want to do this, while you're doing it, something you need to do. You're in class. You're saying, I don't like this class, I don't like this professor. This is boring. I don't like this. Well, that's just great. You're in the class. I told you, I want this to be a binary decision for you. You either enjoy what you're doing or you don't enjoy what you're doing. Push the button. I want you to feel that button is always sitting there. Which button do you want to push? I enjoy what I'm doing or I don't enjoy what I'm doing. So you're sitting in the class, hating it, hating the lecture, not interested. I don't want to be here. Great. You just ruined your life. You sit in the class thinking it's fascinating, it's interesting, or at least I can practice liking it when I don't. That's what I got. It's like there's always fun. If you like what's happening, then it's fun. If you don't like what's happening, then it's fun trying to like it. You just have fun all the time. I want you to have fun all the time. If there's a button in front of you and one says like, the other says dislike, push the like button. It's a lot more fun. And since the button is in front of you at all times, I'm just asking you to do something rational. I'm not asking you to be spiritual. I don't even want to use the word. I'm asking you to be rational. Have a good time. So you could sit there and take a word and you say it over and over until it becomes a habit inside your mind. We call it mantra or japa. There's names for it. All right? You just say the word over and over again. And then what happens if you find yourself during the day listening to the mind with its problems and its things, you now have a choice. Do I want to listen to the mind or do I want to hear that word said over and over again? See, it's not so weird, is it? It's called working with yourself. There are other ones, there are other techniques. Like, have you noticed that when you get angry, your breath changes? Have you ever noticed that if you're in a really nice situation that you really enjoy, it gets really quiet? Like love, just being in the presence of something you're really comfortable with, right? Oh, so somehow the breath has something to do with that mind. The answer is yes, it does. The breath has something to do with the mind. You can get your thoughts going. Wait till you watch your breath. It gets uneven. Just start to get yourself agitated in there. So get peaceful in there. Well, the yogis noticed this. And they said, if it's true that the mind changing can cause the breath to change, if I work with the breath, can I change the mind? Because they seem to be connected. And that's that whole science of pranayama. Right? It's not weird. It's simply the matter of saying, I would like to learn how to not have to listen to the mess that my mind and emotions create by themselves. I would like to have some say in the matter. So I have to learn to not listen to these. So you were given techniques by, Newton said, I'm standing on the shoulder of giants and I can see for miles, right? Well, he was talking about physics. Now we're talking about this. We're talking about how to be able to detach yourself from yourself and not have the thing running your life. Well, you're standing on the shoulder of masters and you can see for eternity. That's what's left to you is the teachings for thousands of years of people who did this and left behind techniques, right? Again, don't get caught up in the technique as a thing in and of itself. I want you to say what I'm trying to do is step back and not listen to my mind so I don't have to let it run my life. Okay, then meditate a little bit. Maybe do some mantra. Maybe learn some pranayama. Learn some basic breathing techniques so that you can then tune into those. And what you're going to find is if you do this a few times during the day, and best if it be done at the same time, you're going to find out that all of a sudden you're in the middle of the day and somebody says something that agitates you, and you start seeing this personal part of your being get weird. You get all weird, and you don't want to. I don't want to get weird because of what somebody said. Why should I get weird because of what you said? You're the weird one who said it. If you have a problem, and you didn't have a good day, and you dump on me, that's not my problem, that's your problem. Why would I let you determine how I'm doing? I get to determine how I'm doing. I get to determine what I eat. I get to determine what goes on in my mind. I get to determine how I'm feeling. I get to determine whether I'm having a good day. Because it's me. How you like that? All right? You have the right, and you may not know how to do it right now, but you can learn. So as you learn these techniques, as you start to work with yourself, remember what working with yourself means. Learning to take a giant step back so that me, the one who lives in here, doesn't have to listen to the other maniac that lives in here, the personal self. All right, so now during the day something happens. It causes agitation, irritation, disturbance, fear, anything, all the junk that can happen, right? And all of a sudden I decide, I think I'll watch my breath a little bit instead of getting all involved in the maniac in here. And I'm telling you, you can literally get to the point, one breath, it's gone. Just all of a sudden, the whole energy changes. You don't have to participate in the neurosis. I'm not telling you to stop the neurosis. Personal self, can't take her anywhere. All right? But you do not have to live in there. You have the right to live in a deeper place. So this is what it means to work on yourself. So you set this time aside, you do some work, you do your thing, but you still go to school, you still be married, you still take care of the kids. Doesn't mean anything. And then little by little, when you get good enough to where you can be there, as we talk about, if you're not there, you can't work on yourself. You have to be there. And the way you be there is very simple. You just say, I'm not going to not be here anymore. That's all. I'm always going to be here. And then you're going to find out that you have these decisions, the real decisions. And there's only one decision. Am I going to be here or not? And when something happens that starts to irritate my lower self, am I going with it? Or am I going to use it as an opportunity to stay behind it? Does that make sense to everybody? That's the main decision you will ever make in your whole life. Because if you go with it, then you can't be happy. Why? Because it's not. It's not. Do you understand that? Your lower self's got serious issues. The ego will never, ever be okay. It is the sense that I am in here, and I don't know where I came from, but I'm in here, and everything else is out there. So it's me against all that. It's just like scared. So what it does, in order to protect itself, is to say, well, I need to develop relationships with all that out there so that I can control it, so that I can know what's going to happen. So I don't have to be scared, so I can be in charge, because I have some say in the matter. So if all of you are out there, I need you to break up into two groups, those that are my friends and those that are not. So I know that the ones that are my friends, I know how they're going to behave, and the ones that are not, I stay away from. And it just starts defining its relationship to everything out there, doesn't it? That's because it's not okay looking out there and seeing all those things. It can never be okay. Because however it defines the relationship, it needs to maintain that. If you're my friend, I need to make sure you're being my friend, that you don't talk behind my back. And if you're my enemy, don't be coming up here being nice. Because you were never nice before, and I don't want you being nice because you don't fit in the category I put you. And all of a sudden, you have to control everything in your life. It didn't fix anything. And now you've defined, well, I'm the person who's better than him, and I'm the one who gets the A's on this test, but I don't do good on that one. You define yourself a certain way, and then you have to have a world that matches you. Otherwise, you get really scared. You get really upset that things are new, and all of a sudden you got a C in the class you were supposed to get an A, right? You get all weirded out, don't you? It's all threatening. It's like, oh my God, there is no win for the ego. What it did was a false thing. It built what's called a self-concept, didn't it? It built this whole made-up relationship between it and the world around it. And now it has to behave that way. You have to dress a certain way, don't you? Around certain people. How many of you have different sets of friends? How many of you dress exactly the way you do when you go to class when you're with your parents? People, we're weird. And we've made it really hard for ourselves because we've defined this self-concept of how we need to be and how we need everybody else to be in order for us to be okay. And so now life's a struggle. You've never gotten it that way. And if you did, it only lasted a second, right? So you get to the point where you realize this is not a joke. I'm not going to continue hanging out with a lose-lose situation. So I'm telling you, you don't change it. You let go of it. You step back by letting go of who you're not. I already gave you that one. You're not those things. You watch those things. Dare to let go. Dare to relax. You will end up in a higher place because you're not going down to a lower place. You don't have to do anything. You will just end up in a higher place. And you will start noticing that you're always there. And then, like I said, your decision is, when the personal self starts acting up, you have a decision to go or not go. And I know it seems threatening to not listen to it. No, it's threatening to listen to it. When you stop listening to it, you end up in a place that's so beautiful. It's always peaceful. It's filled with love and joy. And then the thing starts to act up. I'm not going down there. Somebody comes up and is mean to you. And your personal stuff gets all weird, right? It's bad enough the person was mean to me. I'm not going down there inside myself. You don't have to go. You do not have to go down there because of anything. You get to just relax and let go. And what you'll find out is that if you can handle it inside, it just comes and goes. The person had a bad day, big deal. Or the person is still there and you have to deal with it. But at least deal with it from a place of peace. At least deal with it from a place of well-being, not from a place of I'm totally freaked out. So now you understand spirituality. It is about understanding that you have a choice. You can be happy if you want to be, all the time. But you have to be willing to push the I like it button. You have to be willing to push the I can handle it button. You have to be willing to push the I'm okay button. And if you are willing to push that button, it means letting go of the part of you that is melodramatic. Letting go of the part of you that wants to make a big mess out of life. It makes a big mess because it's raining, doesn't it? Well, that's stupid. Enjoy the rain. And so you learn to let go of yourself. And that's what it's about. You learn, and I gave you techniques. We talked about it. It's going to take some time, but you just learn to let go of yourself. The more you let go of your lower self, the more you end up in your higher self. You don't go to your higher self. You let go of your lower self. I'll give you one final example. You're watching a TV show that is absolutely fascinating to you. Oh my God, it's the most important, fascinating thing you've ever seen. You are glued to that TV show. You don't even know you're in the room. Nobody can call your name. You don't hear anything. They're tapping on the shoulder. You're not even coming back. You are transfixed on that TV show. How do I get out? Stop being interested. You don't have to do anything else. You have to move. You have to pay anybody. If you can cease to be interested in what is going on that TV, you will find you're right back on the couch in the room with everybody. All right? It's the same thing with this. As long as you think that what that mind is saying is something you better be listening to, it's like watching that TV show. The minute you realize, I don't think so. I don't need to listen to this. It's not the solution, it's the problem. And you relax your way through it. Just keep relaxing. You're going to find out that you're back here watching. And then when you have a decision, do I stay back here and watch or do I get down there and involve in the melodrama? You will reach a point in your life when you finally said, I am not going back down there ever again. I don't care what happens. I don't care what it is. It's too nice up here. I'll deal with the things that are in front of me, but not because I'm not okay. I'll deal with them because they're in front of me. But I'll deal with them from a place of I am okay. I'm filled with love. I'm filled with joy. I'm filled with power. I'm filled with total well-being, regardless of whatever happens. But it doesn't mean I don't deal with things. I feed the kids and go to the work and, be a good citizen, be an activist, take care of things. I don't care what I do, right? I'm just being fine, just expressing myself. But no way am I going back down there ever again for one single second to not be okay and then try to change everybody else to make it match me. That's the commitment of your life. No way. I ain't going down there. There's no way I'm going down there ever again. All right? And I gave you some techniques. If you do this, you will start enjoying your life. And by the way, I want it to be fun to struggle to not go down there. It's like a video game, right? You got a built-in video game. Is Pac-Man going to eat me today? No, you are able to stay above it. And so you just make a game out of the whole thing and wait till you see how fast you grow and how happy you get. All right? Will you work with these things? Raise yourself. Raise yourself. Jagrata.